Welcome to this Yin Yoga class for a deep spinal stretch. In this Yin routine, we'll be practicing some forward folds, some gentle back bends, and some spinal twists, so you can get a deep stretch into your spine and release any aches and tension from your back muscles. Because this is a Yin Yoga routine, we'll be holding each pose for between 3 to 5 minutes. Let's begin in Child's Pose. Because we're focusing on our back, you can keep your knees close together in this Child's Pose. That will help you to get a nice deep stretch along your spine and into your lower back. Forehead comes to the mat here, or if it doesn't quite make it, you can put it on that cushion, or just take your hands and place them in underneath your forehead in whatever way works best for you. Now, if your hips don't make it onto your heels, that's okay. You can always place the cushion or yoga block in underneath to help to bridge the distance. Give yourself a few moments here to settle into the pose. In Yin Yoga, we're always aiming just to do 80% of our capacity. So even if you can get into a nice deep child's pose, don't feel pressured to go there today. And if you feel like you are going over 80%, you can always open your knees a little bit wider or use any props you have to help to support you in this pose. We'll be here in Child's Pose for the next 5 minutes. So as you start to settle into your practice, you might take some time to relax your jaw. Loosen up your facial muscles. Release your shoulders. Bringing some awareness to your breath. If you can, you might breathe in through your nose, filling up your belly with your breath. And then exhale slowly from your nostrils again. Each time you breathe in, feeling that expansion of your belly against your thighs. And each time you breathe out, feeling your body sinking a little bit deeper into Child's Pose. Start to feel that stretch all along your spine, maybe in your lower back as well. Keep sending your breath in wherever it's needed the most. And I'll let you know when it's time to release Child's Pose. Take your last 3 breaths here, feeding your back muscles with fresh oxygen, releasing any tension with each exhale. Now you can bring your fingertips to the mat. Use the breath in to bring yourself back up. You can sit whatever way is most comfortable for you. Perhaps face your palms up. We'll take some time here just to let the body adjust and come back after holding child's pose. Now, since we're here, let's take a big breath in and circle the arms. Maybe taking a gentle back bend. Look up to look at your thumbs, and then bring your palms back together at your chest. Really thank yourself and honor yourself for showing up for this practice. You really are amazing for making it onto your mat. Now let's come into our second Yin Yoga pose, which is dangling, or you might know it as a standing forward fold. So we're having both of our feet on the mat, about hip width distance apart. Take as much of a bend into your knees as you need here. Now your hands can hang low to the ground, or they can come to hold opposite elbows. And again here, it's important to note that we're only doing 80% of our capacity. So even if you can straighten up your legs and you can touch your toes with your fingers, you don't have to do that right now. Find what's 80% for you. And then when you're there, we'll hold like this for the next 3 minutes. Dangling is a fantastic pose to open up your hamstrings. It also allows gravity to create a little bit of space between your vertebrae. So with each breath out, you might allow your upper body to get a little bit heavier. Maybe going a little bit deeper into the pose if your body invites you to go there. Releasing the hamstrings is also a great way to release any tension from the back. Tight hamstrings often lead to tight back muscles as well. Find your breath here. Send it wherever it's needed the most. Keep feeding any tension with your breath, and I'll let you know when it's time to release this pose. Enjoy your last 3 breaths here in Dangling Pose. Find what area is asking for your breath the most and just send those 3 breaths into it. Now bring your fingertips back to your mat and slowly guide yourself back down into a seat. Sitting again, whatever way suits you best. Facing those palms up. And just resting here, allowing the vertebrae to stack themselves on top of each other again. Finding that nice posture and just sitting in it for a moment. We'll begin our 3rd Yin Yoga pose now, which is Sphinx Pose. So come to lie on the front of your body. Hold opposite elbows with your hands and then bring your forearms onto the mat in front of you, keeping that same distance between your elbows. Now you want your elbows either directly below your shoulders or in front of your shoulders. And just make sure they're not behind your shoulders. We want to maintain a little bit of activity within our Yin Yoga poses, and Sphinx Pose is a nice pose in which you can do that. So you might press your forearms gently onto the mat in front of you. Spread your fingers nice and wide apart, and then pull your fingers back towards you without actually moving them. So you create a little lift in your chest. Now imagine that chest has a big headlight on it and you're in the dark, so you need to keep that headlight shining forward so you can see in front of you. Take a moment just to relax your bum, the back of your legs. You can even shake them out here if you want to. And while we're relaxing the back body, we're still maintaining a little bit of activity within it. Creating this gentle back bend is a fantastic way to release tension from your lower back and from your spine. We're also stimulating our kidneys and those digestive organs as well by placing them against the hard floor. We'll be here for 3 minutes in total, so keep encouraging that nourishing breath along your spine, throughout your back, and I'll let you know when it's time to release Sphinx Pose. Now in a moment we're going to come down back onto the belly. It's normal to feel the urge just to let out a big sigh when you release Sphinx Pose. So you can slowly start to lower yourself back down. Make a pillow with your hands and then rest your left cheek onto your pillow so you can look to the right side of your body. Bring your big toes to touch each other and then let your heels flop out towards the edges of your mat. Resting here in Crocodile Pose, letting the body digest Sphinx Pose. Here you can completely relax. We'll continue now with another back bending pose, this time practicing seal pose. Bring your feet hip width distance apart or maybe wider, and then your palms can come next to your chest. You're gently lifting yourself up now. It's okay if your arms are straight in this pose, but they don't have to be. Don't worry here how far up you're coming. Stay at 80% capacity, maybe even less. That's okay. And if this pose feels too intense for you, you can always come back and continue practicing Sphinx Pose. We're going to stay here for 2 minutes. Keep sending that nourishing breath all the way down along your spine to your tailbone. Each time it comes out of your body, it's carrying away any tension. Take your last 3 breaths here in seal pose. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back down, sighing it all out if you need to. Coming into Crocodile Pose again, this time bringing your opposite cheek to rest on your hands, looking in the opposite direction. Rest here in Crocodile Pose, just feeling whatever it is that your body is feeling. It's time now to gently roll over onto your back. So just move like a water balloon, gently flopping over. Once you're there, give your spine a moment just to realign itself against the floor. And then from here we'll come into air releasing pose by bringing the knees up towards the chest. Don't crisscross your feet here, keep them beside each other, and then hug your knees with your arms. We're just holding here for a few breaths, again releasing the lower back. Feeling your belly press against your thighs as you breathe in, and maybe squeezing yourself a little bit more as you breathe out. From here we'll come straight into our next Yin Pose, which is a Reclined Twist. So bring your arms out wide, left to right, having your palms against the floor. Curl your tailbone up and then drop both of your legs over to your right. To go a bit deeper, you can turn your neck, looking over to your left hand. The position of your knees here will determine how intense your twist is. So to go deeper, you can bring your knees closer to you. It's important here to keep both of your shoulders on the floor at the same time. So only twist as deep as you can keep those shoulders connected to your mat. We'll be holding here for 3 minutes in total. At first, this can feel like quite a subtle pose, but you'll notice the more you can breathe, the more your body will start to gently open up into this twist, acting like a wet dishcloth here. You're gently wringing out your back, getting rid of any tension, any stress, and any pain. In a moment, we'll begin our transition over to the other side. When you're ready, you can gently start to pick your knees back up. Move as slowly as you need to. When your knees are back in center, curl your tailbone off the mat again, and then drop both knees over to the left, maybe looking right this time. Make sure both of your shoulders are connected to the floor and that you're only twisting at 80% of your capacity. We'll hold here for 3 minutes. In a moment, we'll begin our transition out of this pose. So when you're ready, lift both knees back up to center. Maybe wrap your arms around your legs again, giving yourself a hug, releasing anything that we may have accumulated along the spine in our twists. From here, you can bring both of your feet back down onto the mat, slowly straightening one leg at a time. Allow your arms and your legs to take up as much space as you need here. Resting in Savasana pose. If this pose feels uncomfortable for your lower back, you can always take a bend into your knees and then rest your knees against each other. We'll rest here in Savasana pose for the next 2 minutes. This time allowing your body to completely relax. Loosen up your jaw. Relax your facial muscles. Drop your shoulders. Drop your hips. And drop your feet. Of course, you're welcome to stay here for even longer if you can. But if you are ready to come out of Savasana, you can start to make some gentle movements again. Now come to lie on the right side of your body, dropping into fetus pose for a moment. And you can use your hand to slowly push yourself back up into a seat on the mat. You might close or rest your eyes here. And we'll end this practice by taking 3 deep breaths together. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this routine. I'll see you again on the mat soon. If you enjoyed this routine, I would be really grateful if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps.